What is going on, guys? Welcome back to 4-0 Gaming, and today we're taking a look at another encounter in the Deepstone Crypt, the brand new raid that just came out in Beyond Light. And this one is the Nuke encounter, or the Confronting Taniks encounter, or the Prevent Europa's Destruction encounter, whatever you want to call it. It is the third encounter right after the jump puzzle through space, and basically we're going to have to be carrying these nukes around and depositing them into these chests to help save the planet. There's a lot going on in this encounter, but with some good team coordination and a couple easy strategies, you should be able to knock this out in a breeze. These videos do take a while to produce, so if they do help you out, please drop a like. We drop all kinds of Destiny content here on the channel, 4-0 Gaming, so we hope that you guys subscribe and hang around with us. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright guys, so this encounter is going to be all about managing your augments as we work through disarming these bombs. Once again, you're going to have the scanner buff and the operator buff, and this time there's actually going to be a third buff, which is the suppressor. This is the first time we've seen this buff, and you will also see it in the next encounter, and it allows you to essentially stun the boss, which will allow you to progress the encounter. So the primary objective of this encounter is going to be to go around and pick up nuclear bombs or shells that you're basically going to take and then deposit into these chests that are found in the center of the room on the left and right of the boss when looking at him. You will deposit these bombs in sets, and after completing 6 sets, the floor will open up for you to hop down and escape the encounter. This encounter doesn't actually have a damage phase or a boss phase or anything like that, so I highly recommend running big ad control weapons and things like that. Lament is huge. There are overload champions, so if everyone just kind of has on Lament, you can pretty much sword your way through all the ads and make it super easy. A bunch of people also use Wither Horde to just put down in front of the spawn doors and kill the enemies the second they walk out. So let's dive right in. To start the encounter, simply walk within range of Taniks, who is standing at the front of the room up on like a stage type platform. It will immediately start and a bunch of ads will begin spawning all around the room. It's good to have your team spread out so that you can quickly find the 3 ads that will spawn with your 3 buffs: the scanner, the operator, and the suppressor. You're going to want to split up into 3 teams of 2 and dedicate each of those teams to one of these buffs. Unlike the first 2 encounters, there is a new mechanic in here that will deactivate your augment on random, so you will have to trade off the buffs so that way you can continue to use them. You will not be able to rely on one person to know what they are doing for each buff. Alright, so first let's take a look at the map where there's going to be a lot of key points each team needs to worry about. Shout out to Flameblast525 on Reddit for making these maps for us and putting them out. Definitely go give him some love and shout out to him. So the first point we're going to look at are these yellow points on the map, which are the spawn points for where the bombs are going to come out. You can see there's 1 on each side of the map, and then there's 2 up on the catwalks above the center room. Now this is going to be specifically important for your operator, who's going to have to shoot out one of these when they begin to spawn. So 3 of these are actually going to light up every single time that bombs come out. You'll hear a loud siren, and it's up to your operator to come and shoot one of the bombs that is glowing. This will deactivate that spawn so that you only get 2. You only want to have 2 bombs spawn each time. If you have 3 bombs spawn, you're going to have to deposit all 3 with no additional benefit to just doing 2. So make sure that your operator picks out one of the bombs quickly when you hear the sirens and shoots that out. Also, as a quick note, ideally you're going to want to shoot out the one way out on the left or way out on the right. These are the ones that I find that are really problems for people, that people don't notice they're way out there, and by the time you do, it's too late. It's way easier for people to jump up in the middle and up on one of those catwalks and get those. So if you have the opportunity as an operator to shoot out the far left or far right core spawn, I would highly recommend that, and that's definitely going to help your team. After that, the 2 that your operator didn't shoot out will both spawn the bombs, where I suggest people who are not currently holding a augment buff should go pick them up. Now, technically your operator and your scanner can pick these up as well, but since you do have 3 people that aren't really doing anything else except for ad clear, it should be easy enough for them to grab them. The next spot we're going to look at is where to actually deposit these bombs. So there's 4 chests in the middle front area of the room. There's 2 on each side. We call them L1 and L2 and R1 and R2. 2 being closest to where the boss spawns. These are easy callouts, and this is what your scanner is going to be looking for when the siren goes off. Once again, the siren kind of activates everything. So once you hear those sirens, bombs are going to start spawning. You're going to be able to see which bombs, and just like the consoles in the first encounter and the correct replicate boss and the Atrax encounter, 2 of these are going to glow yellow. Now 3 of them are going to glow if your operator doesn't shoot one out, so be on the lookout for that. But basically you're going to want to call out which ones are glowing yellow so that your bomb carriers can go and deposit at these spots. Now finally, we have the new suppressor role, and that's going to be very, very important as well, because until the boss is suppressed, we cannot deposit any bombs to these chests. Now there are going to be 3 suppressor drone locations around the map, identified by these green stars here, as you can see on this Reddit map. So there's one up on the left, up on these catwalks, one up on the right, up on a catwalk, and then one directly in the middle. Now there are these little drone things, and once you have the suppressor buff, you'll see these rings light up below them, and you're going to have to actually go to all 3 rings and shoot the boss from there. It only takes a couple bullets from a primary, so it's not too difficult, but you're going to want to watch out for the boss, who will be stomping and booping, because he'll kind of move around this area. He's not going to stay up here. He'll move down here, he'll move over here, and you don't want to get booped for him and not be able to get the suppress off. It's going to be very important that you suppress the boss as quickly as possible, because if you don't have the boss suppressed, your bomb carriers will not be able to deposit the bombs. So it's really, really important that you're ready to go the second that siren goes off. Stand under this drone first, shoot over there, or this one. Either way, I like to start on left or right side first, and then work your way across, hitting him from all 3 to stun him. And then once he is stunned, you'll see he has kind of this electric field around him, and he'll kind of be like crouching over. So that's pretty much the full rundown of what each role needs to do. And now let's get into some of the little extra caveats that are going to be going on. So for your bomb runners, as mentioned, those should be really primarily the people that are not currently using one of the augment buffs. So there'll be 3 people that are kind of just on ad control. They're killing ads. And then once those sirens go off, they're looking for where the bombs are spawning, and they need to go pick them up. It is really important that the people picking up bombs get there immediately, because there's going to start a countdown timer right on the bombs the second they spawn, and I think it's like somewhere around 10 seconds. And if you don't pick up the bombs out of the spawns within 10 seconds, it will wipe you. At any point, if a bomb is on the ground because someone was carrying it and dies, it has a countdown again. It will wipe you. So it's really important that you pick these up immediately and carry them and deposit them as quickly as possible. Now, as I just mentioned, if they are on the ground. So how do they get on the ground? Well, if you pick up a bomb, you're going to start stacking a debuff known as radiation, okay? And this is going to start out as 1 stack, and it's going to slowly tick up to times 10, all the way up to times 10. Once it hits times 10, you will die from the radiation, essentially. So it's very important, once again, that you're moving quickly. Now, this stack does not fall off quick at all. Like, once you deposit the bomb, or once you give it to one of your teammates, it does take a while to go back down. So make sure that you're monitoring this radiation the whole time, and you're not picking it back up when you're already at 6 or 7 stacks, because you most likely will not make it to deposit. Now, to trade this bomb, you won't be able to drop it either. So it's very important that you're calling out to your teammates if you are going to need a swap. Say you're already at 7 or 8. It's important that you say, hey guys, I need a swap. Someone needs to come take it. And one of your teammates is going to have to physically walk up to you and hold X. So it's important that if you need someone to take it from you, call it out, stand perfectly still so it's easy for your teammate to get to you. And they have to come up and hold X to physically take it from you. It's not like a drop it and now I'll pick it up. None of that. So it does take some coordination in that case to make sure that you guys aren't dying all over the place. In most cases, as long as your suppressor is doing their job quickly, you'll be able to stun the boss in plenty of time, and you won't need to trade the bomb off, assuming you picked up the bomb with very low or no radiation stacks to begin with. Now, after you've deposited the 2 or 3 bombs off of that core spawn, it's pretty much just rinse and repeat. But there is one more thing you'll have to worry about before starting your next set of bombs, and that's the Augment Lockout. Now, after you suppress the boss, not when you deposit the cores, but when your suppressor suppresses the boss, it's going to trigger an Augment Lockout debuff to go to one of your random players who currently has one of the Augment buffs. So your current scanner, operator, or suppressor is going to get this, and it's going to be very important that you call it out immediately and swap the buff in one of the terminals, just like you swap the buffs in the terminals in the first 2 encounters. Now, this is why it's important to have 2 people on each team, because basically, if I'm the scanner and I get the debuff, that's the Augment Lockout, I'm not going to be able to use the scanner. It's not going to work, and it's going to stay deactivated forever until I trade it to one of my teammates and start the cooldown. So it's important that I would call out to our backup scanner, hey, I have the debuff, I'm putting in the scanner now, pick it up. Now, you do have some time to get this trade off. There's going to be about 30 more seconds of just add waves coming before the siren goes back off to tell you, hey, more bombs are spawning. Operator, shoot one out. Scanner, look for which ones you need to deposit in. So you do have some time, so don't panic. Just make sure you guys call this out and don't forget about it, because when the bombs spawn, you don't want to have your scanner be deactivated and no one knew, and now all of a sudden you don't know where to deposit the bombs. People are dying because they don't know where to deposit, etc. There are 3 terminals in this encounter, one in the center right by the middle drone, and then one on each side. So no matter where you guys are on the map, there's plenty of them around, and you should be able to get to them quickly and make the swaps efficiently. So that's pretty much it, guys. Once you get that swap off, you're ready for the rinse and repeat, and you just have to do this 6 times, 6 sets of 2. And as I stated before, there is no advantage to doing the 3 bombs and not deactivating one as the operator. My team did test that out. We did all 6 rounds doing 3 bombs instead of 2, and you still had to do the 6 rounds. So it's not like, oh, if we just do the 3, we only have to do 4 rounds, etc. So with that in mind, make sure your operator's shooting them out, make sure your scanners are on top of it, and basically if everyone's doing their job, it's a super easy encounter, especially if you guys have Lament and Swords. Watch out for all those captains, those overload champions that are going to be coming out, and if you keep that clear, chain your supers, you're going to be just fine. You can keep track of how many sets of bombs you've deposited by looking at these little green lights in the middle of the room, right below where you deposit the bombs. And these will basically, every set will light up 1 green light until there are 6. Once you have deposited the 6 sets, the middle floor right here in the middle of the room is going to open up. You and your entire team should stack here, drop down the second it opens, and you're going to have to run down this tunnel. There's going to be a couple little adds, nothing really to worry about, but you just need to keep running. Don't stop, and you have to basically get to this airlock area on the other side, or escape pod, I guess, before the door closes. So just drop down there quickly, run down the hall. You should have no problem here, and that's the end of the encounter. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it. You have saved Europa, and you're on to the final encounter of Deepstone Crypt. If this video did help you out, please leave a like, consider subscribing. We drop all kinds of Destiny 2 content like this. We have other raid guides on our channel already, more coming out in the future, and yeah, we just love making Destiny content. So if you're into that, please subscribe, and we'll see you guys around. Until next time, peace.